It's very painful to see people throw things off their boats or do things and then see the animals ingest them or the fishing line around them, and it's through that human interaction that these animals die.
Air and water pollution can affect their health by putting toxic chemicals in the air that they breathe. It can give them pneumonia or infections, things like that. The water pollution can inhibit the animal's food supply. It can kill off a lot of the fish and things that they would eat. It can also harm them. We believe that our sea turtles get these tumorous diseases, and we've seen an increase in the tumors as we get an increase in water pollution.
Even if you think you're helping, very often people with good intentions will harm animals.
Boat propellers, or especially with manatee rescues. So there's a lot of human interaction depending on the animal, but yes, it affects stranding all the time.
I don't use any products that have glitter or any kind of plastics in them that can get into the water supply.
You can not litter, right?
We recycle here at the bike shop. We try to keep plastic and cardboard and everything out of the environment, so that's one thing that we do.
Recycle at home from just using just the little blue bin that they got, so we can put our cans and our plastics and stuff like that. I do always cut up the six-pack holder thing, just so that they can't get hurt by any like ducks and stuff that are swimming in the ocean, things like that.
There isn't just one type of trash that's the most harmful to the marine ecosystem. There are a number of different types of trash. We have plastic. There can be those plastic soda rings that entangle animals. There's plastic monofilament fishing line. There's plastic bags that sea turtles think that are food, and they'll end up consuming them.
And leaving behind fishing lures, leaving behind fishing line, any pollution, the impact is real. It does happen, and especially fishing gear, because it lasts so long in the environment.
Trash pollution can impact our sea turtles in many ways. One way is entanglement. Trash being out in the water, they can be entangled in it. They can also ingest it. Plastic bags look like jellyfish. Some sea turtles, different species of turtles, eat jellyfish, and they can ingest that. Like November through February?
Or is it August to October or something?
I think it's in the winter time.
Like in February, maybe?
It's during this summer, because when we set up volleyball tents out here, we set up volleyball nets out there. They won't let us dig holes in the sand because it'll affect the sea turtles. We can't have anything on the sand because it'll stop them from going back into the ocean.
As the female comes up onto the beach, she's going to find her spot to lay her eggs, and there's many ways that can be impacted during that time. If the female comes up, decides not to lay her eggs, we call it a false crawl, and reasons why that might happen is because of lighting. So people around here, and especially if somebody's vacationing, they may not understand that lighting is such a big issue. You can have a condo out on the beach and you might be on the 12th floor, but you have big open windows and bright lights shining, your TV's on, and your windows aren't covered at night. Any kind of distraction of that sort can hinder a female from laying her eggs.
By leaving those lights on, it can confuse the hatchlings when they come out of the nest and go backwards towards the land rather than the ocean. They can leave a lot of trash on the beach, which for a small hatchling that's only the size of a golf ball, it can impede them of getting to the ocean in a timely manner. If it takes them too long, they might run out of energy and could either starve to death or just die on the beach.
Loggerhead turtle that we have right now in rehab, who was entangled in a crab trap. She came to us a few weeks ago, and she came in where her flipper was completely entangled all the way down to the bone, and she's already on her way to recovery. Red tide in this area, we do actually get quite a few cases of it. That's one of the main reasons why turtles strand or turtles are brought in, is because of red tide reasons.
I think it has to do with the amount of algae that's growing and kills off sucks up the oxygen that the fish need to survive with.
I concur. Pollution?
Pollution, yeah, things that run off from the streams and rivers.
The algae bloom just causes a decrease in food and also an increase in toxins in the air. So it definitely impacts these animals in the local area when an algal bloom happens.
I have not heard of the Marine Mammal Protection Act. It would be a...
What is it called again? Marine Protection Act?
Really don't know. That's kind of sad. I think we should know this.
Probably, once again, I don't know if it has to do with like boaters and that, but people making sure that they don't get too close to the marine animals in the water, so they don't hit them with boats. Once again, like, you know, touching them, feeding them, it's just really disturbing their habitat. Anything that would avoid that. That's what I would assume.
Well, marine mammals, I would say, are obviously be, you know, the mammals that are in the ocean. I'm imagining to protect them for so that they're not getting poached. I'm assuming manatees are probably on that list from people hitting them with their boats. I know it's a big issue, but I don't know much about it though.
Having like eco-friendly ships, like I don't know.
All the little ways information is so powerful, and how that helps you save animals, and keeping people informed, you know, when they encounter animals is very important, very difficult, because it's so hard to educate everybody. It's not like the manual of rescuing animals is just sitting on every, you know, is mailed to everybody's house and they're going to read it cover to cover. It doesn't work that way. We just do our best to help people on the phone when they call us, and the best thing to do is call us, or if you don't know our number, call any emergency service to help you too. Do your best not to interfere when people accidentally hit animals in their boats. It's always accidental, and it's sometimes very hard to avoid. It's just accidental and you didn't see them. Do your best to help the animal once it's already happened.
Especially with sea turtles, is very crucial when it comes to boating, just to spread the awareness of watch what's out there. As you're driving your boats, be aware of what's around. If you see something at the surface that looks suspicious, it might not be a patch of algae.
Because all of our animals, or almost all of our animals, and certainly most of the ones that I work with, are ones that are here with us, sometimes from human interaction, but always from a situation in the wild that made it impossible for them to survive out there.
Stubby is a female green sea turtle that was caught in monofilament fishing line while she was swimming along, and it cut down so deep to her flipper and down to the bone that it ended up cutting off circulation, and we had to amputate those front flippers, and so now she is left with just two little stubs, which is how she got her name, Stubby. And she is non-releasable because she is no longer able to dive down to the bottom of a pool, or she can't forage for food on her own, so she became a permanent resident because of that human impact.
We have an otter who's definitely here because of human interaction. He was hit by a car. So due to that, he's unable to survive because he's paralyzed in his hind legs and tail. Winter, who you might have heard of, is a dolphin who doesn't have flukes. Those are their tail fins. So she can't swim normally. She swims pretty well. She gets around. But in the wild, she would not be able to compete with other dolphins. She wouldn't be able to keep up, and she would definitely be very likely to fall victim to predators. So that's because she was entangled in ropes from a crab trap. So that's a human interaction, human impact on them.
I guess the only thing I could say is that I try to limit like bottled waters, as far as just like refilling them or using things other than bottled water. We also recycle at my house, so we're always really good about trying to limit the amount of trash and recycle as much as we can.
To save the marine system, you can take quick showers.
Is that true or is that false?
Recycle. That's about as much as I do for that.
We can definitely help out these sea turtles by just changing our nightly routine on the beach. People need to turn off their lights during nesting season. They need to fill in the holes. Kids like to dig those holes, but if we fill them in before we leave the beach, or knock down the large sandcastles, or pick up the trash before they leave, and take any furniture off the beach at night when it's hatchling season.
So whenever you dive or whenever you swim, if you see stuff, pick it up and put it away.
Just make sure you don't leave any of it behind. Do everything you can to make sure you don't leave any of it behind.
Little things like that where you just think, oh, it's okay, I'll leave it here, actually does make a big difference.
Just don't impact them. do your best not to interfere in any way possible and call to get more informed with someone like us. Never appropriate, unless it was intentional, to blame somebody for it. People just need to be educated. That's all there is to it. There's so much to learn about everything in this world.
Education is very important here about recycling, putting our fishing line away, doing the right thing. So that is what I would encourage you most, is to educate the people you're in school with, to make sure, because if our environment, our marine environment, it affects all of us. Ecosystems, it affects whether we're in a 9-to-5 job, whether we're on the marine life, it affects our whole livelihood for our children and our grandchildren.